Well, welcome everybody. We'll get through some of the easy business before the Congresswoman is able to join us, and we're also waiting on Adonica Fauché to join us. She's like the rest of us having technical difficulties today, so we'll give her a chance. She will be speaking later on in the meeting. But so welcome everybody to this month's virtual ROADwomen monthly general membership meeting. We are going to be holding our general membership meetings virtually for the time being. We want to keep you safe, we keep us safe, and this just seems to be the way that we're going to do things for now. We're taking everything month by month and also paying attention to what the experts are saying. So we want to make sure that we are doing what's right by you as well as us. And for those of you who don't know me, because there's some new people on here, my name is Kat Clemens, and I am the current president of ROADwomen. And on the Zoom with me right now are other board members, Carly Mosier and Tanya Ingram. Say hi.
Hey,
and Adonica will be joining us shortly. So tonight, I know all of you are logging in to see a formidable force of nature. She represents Houston and Texas very well in Washington, D.C., and I want to make sure that we get to hear from her, her view of the response to COVID-19 and what's maybe something we should be looking forward to in the future. We want to keep things moving fairly quickly. We have two kind of big events that are happening just after us, both happening right when this ends at 6:30. So we have the 2020 Democratic Candidate Debate Forum, and that's if you go onto Facebook at 2020 Democratic Candidate Debates and Forums is the link. And you can click through the link on the event page, on our event page as well. We are a co-host to that. But that is for the Texas Congressional District 10 Democratic runoff. So that's going to be a really good one. We also, right after us, is HBAD's meeting. And so if you are a member of HBAD, you might want to make sure you get onto that as well, because they are also having a vote tonight. So since this is a webinar format, we are missing one huge component of our meetings that we normally have, and that is that we normally have the introduction of candidates and electeds, and we are definitely missing all of you tonight. We love helping educate our membership about all of you and what, people, getting them excited about the upcoming runoff and all of that. So we are sorry that we're not seeing you tonight, but we are wanting to make sure that all of you know that the Democratic primary runoff is coming July 14th is election day, but early voting on Monday, June 29th through Thursday, July 2nd, and then pops up again on Monday, July 6th through Friday, July 10th. Now, voters are going to be able to vote at any of the early voting centers throughout Harris County, and voters who are 65 and older or are eligible to vote by mail, we are encouraging you to do so. If you haven't already gotten your application to vote by mail, that's an easy fix. We can get that for you. We just want to make sure that you are getting that done ahead of time so you can get your ballot in early and so that it's counted and so there isn't a backlog. Carly, Tanya, do you guys remember the website address? It just went out of my mind.
HarrisVotes.com?
Harris Votes. Okay, thank you. Don't know why that didn't stick in my brain. Thanks.
It's isolation times. Nothing sticks in my brain.
Coronavirus brain. Okay, but we do have lots of really awesome folks who are going up against each other in the Democratic primary runoff, and we hope that you all do actually vote, whether it's vote by mail or in person. Please make sure this is how we are going to continue to flip to blue, but keep Harris County blue. So since we're trying to make sure that all of this ends on time and moves at a bit of a quicker pace than usual, we want to make sure that we do hear from Adonica, if she is able to call in, or I'm gonna keep an eye out for her. So maybe she can again as Carly. But she is the chair for SD15, and so she is coming to you with the update on the Texas State Convention. And so if you have any questions for her, or if we did receive an email today, you can always email us at roadwomentx@gmail.com. And so if you have any questions, hopefully Adonica will be able to answer those for you.
I hear you. Adonica, I hear you.
Okay, I can't see myself.
I might be because you clicked on my link.
But we can hear you. So
no worries.
Well, fantastic. Well, Adonica, do you want to go ahead, since we're still waiting on the Congresswoman? Do you want to go ahead and give us an update on the Texas State Convention?
Sure, no problem. Hello, everybody. Sorry I can't see everybody, but thank you for joining us. I'm Adonica Fauché, and I just want to give you just a quick little update about the state convention. I am very happy to say we have the most candidates that we can have for the actual vote tonight. If you are a state delegate, you would have received an email that said that today was the last day to vote for certain committees. So I'm going to backtrack and let you know that the 2020 Texas Convention was called to order May 15th by our chair, and the actual convention is June 1st through 6th. So you would have voted for the permanent committees. It started Sunday, May 17th, and it ended today at 5 o'clock. So hopefully you got that in. The next up will be the DNC and the SDEC and the DNC at large meetings. All of those are going to be at different dates, and I will give that to you later. The actual convention, excuse me, I'm tongue-tied right now. The actual committees that you voted on today were rules, credentials, nominations, resolutions, and platform. So as you know, because of the pandemic, we are doing everything virtually. This was supposed to be in San Antonio from June 4th through 6th. Hey, does she need to come on? Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. We just saw somebody come in, so I thought it was Congresswoman. Okay, so
We're getting there.
yes. So the convention was going to be in San Antonio from June 4th through 6th. Since the pandemic, we're actually going to have the convention from June 1 through 6. And let's see, all the ballots are going to be via email. So you should get it. Those that are state delegates are going to get an email that says convention business. Please open that email, and there will be a convention ID number. That ID number is what you need to get to view the caucuses. That's how you're going to vote. Now, for those of you who are not state delegates but still would like to visit and see what's going on, there is a virtual ticket that you can go online, and it's txdem.co/virtual-ticket. I can put that somewhere later. You can get in touch with me. And that's so you can still hear all the speakers, join the conversation, organize within your community. So we will still have that, for you to do. I see that Congresswoman is still here. Just tell me when I need to stop. But for right now, I'll just continue. So that ID, one thing is, the convention ID, as I mentioned, that's for voting and to get into the caucus. You will notice that at times your convention ID may change. That is strictly for safety. We want to make sure that people are not giving their IDs to other people, and because of hacking and all of this stuff. So make sure that If you get anything in the email, it might just make sure you look at your convention ID because it might change. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me at ahf1981@comcast.net if you have any questions, because this is new to all of us. It's a learning process. We have some great speakers for everybody. Now, there are different caucuses, as you may know, Hispanic caucus, LGBT caucus, women caucus, Asian American caucus, Black caucus. So there's something for everyone. You can see what's going on in Texas, and we really hope that you will be a part of this. We had over 12,000 delegates for the state, which is amazing. So thank you all for being interested, and I hope you join us. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much, Adonica. You're doing so much for our community, for sure. You are earning those stripes to keep Texas, turn Texas blue for us this year. And to get Trump out of office.
Yes.
Okay, so I want you guys to make sure after we hear from the Congresswoman to stick around. We are members who are on this webinar. We are going to put up a poll to vote in Margaret Lynch. You should have received an email from us today that showed you the person you've been seeing check you in or pour your drinks or serve you food the last probably, 2 years, a year? I don't know. It feels like, I don't know time anymore. Coronavirus has ruined my time. But she's been a longtime road woman and volunteer for us. So we're really excited to vote her on to our executive board. And so stick around after we hear from the Congresswoman. If you are a member, you'll get a chance to vote. So I guess we're still waiting on.
He's working on getting her over,
Okay.
We all know how busy and how valuable her time is. So he just sent me a text message there. He's getting it all set to go. So she should be on shortly.
Okay, great.
She's at a testing site, you guys, so she's working.
She's doing exactly what we want her to do as an elected official for us. So
stay safe. That's all I can think of. Oh my gosh.
So exciting. Is there anything else that we need to discuss with the membership?
Yeah, Tanya, you want to take over and talk about membership while we wait?
I sure can. Just really quick. Thank you, everybody. I'm seeing here we have lots of people in attendance today, and I hope if you're the first time coming to our meeting, this is not what they look like. Usually we have wine and we have a good time. So I hope you do have a glass of wine wherever you're at. Anyway, so if you're interested in joining our leadership team or our advisory team, we would love to hear from you. Please send us an email or a Facebook message, and our email is roadwomentx@gmail.com.
roadwomentx@gmail.com.
Okay. If not, I think most of you are my friends. Send me a friend, send me a message. I will get to you. The other thing is we are doing lots of events. So on Thursdays, we are phone banking. And we do it in a Zoom. And we can all see each other, and it's a lot of fun. So if you want to do that, participate in that, also please look at our Facebook events. We are also, if you want to be, we do have happy hours every Friday. If you want to get involved with us, please just click on our link. Oh, there she is. So,
all right.
Okay, Carly, take it away.
Well, hello there, Congresswoman. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. It's a pleasure.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Road Women members, as my mother used to say, Road Women and the men who love us, and every guest and ally we have, it is our honor and our pleasure to welcome our very, very, very favorite Congresswoman, Sheila Jackson Lee. This is her 13th term as a Congresswoman for us. And she is the most effective member of Congress, I would have to say, personally. She's my Congresswoman, and she is here to answer all things government response to the pandemic. So I'm going to let her take it away. And then if you don't mind answering a couple of questions after you're done giving us an update, I'd love that.
I'd be delighted. And forgive me, I am at a food distribution site in way northwest Houston, so I have to keep my mask on. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you just fine.
Thank you. To the board members, to Madam President, you all look so wonderful. I don't want us to continue virtual, but you all are really Hollywood stars. You look really good. So thank you to all of those who are either listening or virtual. I'm delighted to be with you. This is not a hoax, and it is extremely serious. And I have immersed myself both in the science of COVID-19, but as well the practicalities of COVID-19. So let me first of all say that my original avocation as we begin to hear about COVID-19 started as early as February 10th. I was the first member of Congress to raise the issue of COVID-19, and we did it at Bush Intercontinental Airport, where I asked whether our federal officials were prepared for people coming into the United States that were dealing with potentially COVID-19. With a little bit of humor, it was almost like I was a skunk at the party, even though it was my press conference. Nobody wanted to talk about COVID-19. It just wasn't going to get here. We had everything under control, and other federal employees that were not managers and supervisors, they knew that things were not under control. My next press conference was at the end of February, again, raising how should I say it, raising the clarion call that we were not prepared. And in the midst, we had hearings because I'm on Homeland Security, and I knew something was awry when I asked the deputy admiral or vice admiral for one of our agencies, I think in particular the NIH, when they first heard about COVID-19, and it was October, November, but particularly November 2019 in the United States. That meant that we had many months that this administration did not prepare for the American people. That's their job. Their job is to send an alarm to Congress to ask for federal funding. And so we could have been prepared by having the masks, we could have had test kits, we could have had more of our cities and hospitals prepared for the symptoms. At that time, everything was still not knowledgeable. That's not good English, but we didn't really know what we were dealing with. And so we kept saying, you have to have a temperature, you have to have a cough, you can't breathe. And then we discovered later on that you could be asymptomatic. That means you don't have anything and you're spreading it. And that's why we got all these hot spots. That's why people went to the Mardi Gras, and then all of a sudden New Orleans became a hot spot. That's why Detroit became a hot spot with big events that they had. And that's why a very crowded, congested, but loving city like New York just became an enormous hotspot, and they were not testing people at all. So I took the issue of testing and opened the first no-charge testing site. I truly believe we might have been one of the first cities in the nation to open that site, and that was on March 19th. And you know my message is testing, testing, testing. We've opened 7 sites since. Federal dollars have come in, and many of you know that there are sites at Del Mar and Butler Stadium. Now we're doing pop-up sites, but Cullen, Forest Brook, Griggs Elementary School in the Greens Point area, and UMC, which is in the Shepherd Acres Home area, still exists. And we even went out to Jacinto City and tested a lot of senior citizens and diverse communities. So we're testing and recognizing that the disease is not a race disease, but it is a disease that has a disproportionate impact on Latinx and African Americans. It's documented in terms of mortality rates, maybe because of the physiology, but we haven't determined that yet. So under the circumstances, that is something that I've worked on. And in the course of CARES 1, we had $8 billion for testing. CARES, the interim financing, which was voted on April 23rd, we got $25 billion. And then I want to jump you to where we are today, which is CARES 2. That is a $3 trillion plus. And I tell you, I need you to advocate and fight for this like you've never fought before. The chairman of the Federal Reserve said that we needed to go big. People are hurting long term. We needed to go big. And so $75 billion for testing. We've got hazardous pay. We've got families can get monies up to $6,000. That's the cash disbursement. We've got about $700 billion for states and cities. As you well know, Houston has done a fabulous job. The County of Harris has done a fabulous job, but they've lost a lot of revenue. They've lost rodeo. They've lost the Energy Conference in May. They've lost the World Petroleum Institute and many other things, the CIRA event. And so many places have lost revenue. And so we fought for that. It is a fair and reasonable bill. There's certainly some legislative language that some people agree with, some people don't. But the overall, we provided for people's health care. We provided for people who don't have health care, that if they have to be quarantined, that they will have 2 weeks of pay and health coverage, that if you don't have health care, you have to go in the hospital, we pay for it. Of course, as you well know, we continue to support small businesses. By the way, there is still money in the PPP account. Really get the word out to all of your members who may be frustrated or suffering. You can still apply for the PPP account. And of course, you know that you can work to have that forgiven. I think there's a question about that later about PPP, and I'll look forward to answering that question. We got money in there for violence against women. Obviously, this is a very tense time. There is so much, and you know I wrote the bill. The bill is still stuck under Senator McConnell, who won't move the bill where we closed the boyfriend loophole. Horrible. But we got $100 million and broken down for domestic violence and other sexual assault put in this bill because we realize what people are going to. We got mental health dollars put in this bill. We got monies in there for exhausted health workers, doctors, nurses, hospital staff. These people are going to be literally exhausted for the next curve, which may be the flu and the COVID-19 in the fall and in the winter. We also, this is a very touchy subject, but let me tell you what we have. This is federal, so we don't deal with what's going on locally. And I know you've seen a lot in the news about people being released. We're not dealing with that. What we're dealing with in the federal government, we have compassionate release for nonviolent old people that have been in and are sickly. That's what we call compassionate release in terms of coming out of the prison, because we don't have parole in the federal prison. So we had something in the CARES Act that would release elderly, sickly, nonviolent persons so that we could have room, or so that they wouldn't get infected and then infect everybody else. And you know, the other topics I'd be happy to talk about, because I am in criminal justice reform and I know how to work where we don't have tragedies that have happened in Houston for a couple of weeks now that we need to deal with. But I want to say this: it is not a hoax. Following the science is important. As we sit in this very, very big state, several things come to mind as I close. One, we are a state of big areas. So North Texas and Dallas, Fort Worth, that's a big area. We all know that area. We know the San Antonio area. We know the Austin area, which kind of connects to San Antonio. We know the Big Enchilada, which is Houston, Harris County. And then we know the Valley. And you know, then you have like East Texas. Well, we're not testing everyone. We happen to be very fortunate. But when you go into these small areas, I can assure you, they're not testing, they're not social distancing, they're not wearing masks. And this is a very challenging circumstance that we have to really work on. And as Democrats, we can really be health workers as well. We can be the party of common sense and science, as opposed to the folk that don't wear masks outside and make light of it. It is still, each day we're finding new information about COVID-19. We don't understand it. So first it was, well, I think it goes 6 feet. Now, you know what? It hangs in the air. So if you cough, it hangs in the air, meaning if you are infected or if you're asymptomatic, if you cough, it hangs in the air. And then someone else, not wearing a mask, can have and be impacted by it. We don't have a cure or treatment. What we do have is good doctors and others trying to put something together when you come into the hospital. They try to craft what you, how they can treat you. And of course, as you well know, we do not yet have a vaccine. And the question that you have to ask as road women, as women who care about people, when that vaccine comes out, will it be accessible to all people of all economic levels, all over the nation? How much will it cost? we can't pay for a vaccine that's costing people, you know, let me be $5,000 or $1,000. So how is this administration going to equitably distribute the vaccine? So there are many issues that we are dealing with. And last one is to make sure that we treat all employees fairly, that we recognize the service that they've given, that we are thankful to our first responders, but all of the guys and gals that are in all these positions that we used to just take for granted, go to the grocery store and all the items were on the shelves, never thought about the grocery store stock room people that come in there and put those things on nice and pretty so it looks good. And that's nice and pretty before COVID, because every time you go now, nothing is hardly on the shelf. But that look nice and pretty, or to think about the bus drivers, if you take the bus, to think about them, or to think about the deliverers, the FedEx, the UPS, the Domino's, pizza people, sanitation workers, city workers, etc. I've become so conversant with how important they are, as I did before, but now to have them extra special. So again, to Road Women, I'm so proud of being affiliated with all of you because it is one of the long-standing organizations of women that are so unique because we have women from all over. And thank you, Diane Mosier, who gave birth to this wonderful, beautiful child, and also gave birth to Road Women, but more importantly, gave birth to the idea that women count too. Women are Americans who count too. And remember what Nancy Pelosi said, when women succeed, America succeeds. Don't forget that when women succeed, America succeeds. So we thank all of you, and I will pause because the disease of a lawyer is that they're like presenting their case, and I got all this. So I'm presenting my case, so I'm going to stop now, and thank you for giving me the opportunity for being here.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. I know Carly has some questions she wants to ask you if you have time.
I will take time. Thank you.
Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we did get a few questions in from guests and members, not too many. One is from Sydney Greenblatt, and Sydney asks, is there any movement in Congress to increase the SNAP program recipients so that more people in need of food assistance could have an opportunity to shop in their local grocery stores, thus increasing income for those stores and increasing employment opportunities for those grocery workers? In your opinion, is this a better idea than giving food directly to people, which necessitates developing a new program rather than using existing programs?
Well, she is absolutely right, and she'll be glad to know that in CARES 2, $3 trillion plus, we put a 15% increase in the SNAP benefits, and we put extra funding for SNAP overall. And we're looking to utilize SNAP for people who are not beneficiaries of SNAP at this time, but need to have SNAP support based upon their predicament. Now, what I would make the argument is that the food banks will always be needed. We gave $150 million to food banks across America. And in times of very difficult times, people need outright food giveaways because there's a lot of people that are not on the SNAP benefits. And the people that we're seeing coming through this line are people that would never be eligible or get SNAP benefits. And they're first timers, they're out of work, but they've had a steady job before. So we want to not completely close out the food distribution, but she makes a beautiful point, and we want to use the SNAP system. And so we're going to use it, and we're going to give increased benefits and increased reach for the SNAP benefits. I'm looking for how much we put in there, so I may find it before we hang up. Okay.
Great. Louis Salinas asked, what can we do to get the IGs back on board?
Well, I said today, I'm not sure, I'm on a lot of interviews, so I'm not sure to whom I said that with, but I think I said today that we're living in abnormal times, and not just because of COVID-19, but we're living in a time where there is no conscious desire to adhere to the rule of law and to abide by the Constitution. Yes, the IG is an appointee, and that means presidents can hire or fire. But the IG, in years past, Republican and Democratic presidents have been sacred because the IG came in after Watergate just to make sure that the American people can have additional confidence in what is going on in their government. It's not our government, the ones who have the honor and privilege of serving. We're servants, we're public servants. It's not our government, you know, and we make normal mistakes. Somebody might have made a mistake and, you know, had called somebody on the phone and they were talking something other than talking about congressional business, but it was civic business. Whatever, that's a mistake, not purposeful abuse of power. And so the IG firing because they were doing their job is an absolute abuse of power. Just like the firing of Dr. Bright, who was over BARDA, who I worked with, by the way, who was over the very agency that was dealing with vaccines, firing that person because that person told you you did not do a good job and you failed the American people, and lives were lost because of your ineptness, your inattention, and your inability, and just outright, I don't care. So on the IG, Congress is going to investigate. We're going to have hearings. You can believe that the Oversight Committee will have hearings. The Judiciary Committee might likely have hearings. We're not going to let this go by. We can't, I mean, you know, midnight on Friday, you just can't stand in the way for somebody getting fired. We finished the bill. You may have seen, I was in the chair. We finished the bill, the HEROES bill, at 10:30 at night. So then all of a sudden, you know, we're making our way to our respective apartments so that we can get on a 6 a.m. flight to get home to do what we have to do on Saturday. And at midnight, we get word that this person has been fired. So we need the American people to show their outrage, because everyone has to abide by the rule of law. And if not, you apologize, you're chagrined, you try not to do it again, you ask forgiveness. This is one thing after another. And so 4 IGs, I believe, have been fired. That is not the system of government that was set up. It is supposed to be a interrelated system that abides by the rule of law. To that person's question, it was long-winded because it just touches my very grain of the Constitution. And I would just say to them, outrage is important from all of you. We have to hear it. And yes, the IG firings will be investigated.
That's fantastic. And yes, we want as long-winded an answer as you are willing to give us. So we're so honored to have your time. This question came in and I feel like it's an important one. This is from Cynthia Sanders. She is an AFGE national representative for District 10. She represents members in Texas, New Mexico, Mississippi, and Louisiana. She asks, I am an AFGE staffer, D10 Congresswoman Lee. I know that you are a longtime supporter of workers everywhere. What has been the conversation regarding hazardous pay for our frontline workers? Can you share some of the conversation as to why it did not make it into the latest bill for the TSA and the VA? Will that be something that'll be addressed by itself? Thank you so much for your continued support of workers and support for the community.
Thank you, Cynthia. And first of all, there is no doubt, there is no doubt that AFGE represents essential workers, and I have supported you all extensively. In fact, when I get through, I have an announcement about essential workers. We're not happy either. I'm not going to commit to saying they did not get in at the last minute, but you have a huge support among members of Congress that TSA officers and individuals at the veterans hospitals are essential workers with our veterans. So there is no doubt, if we did not squeeze it in on this go round, that we will be championing this for the next go round. I'm hoping that we have some flexibility with the hazardous pay, that it'll allow us to have it interpreted that TSA officers and veterans can take advantage of it. If not, we will be the first in line to fight for it as we go forward. So thank you for asking that question.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. I had a question come in just a second ago from one of our lovely road women that you've met, Nikki. She has her little service dog Pepper, you might remember, and she asked, what is the government doing to get this information out to communities that are not necessarily have access to the internet? Are they doing mailers? Are they doing personal outreach to communities where they may not have access to the information that we have? Or
No, go ahead, Carly.
Or just varying economic levels?
Well, I know that we have put funding in the bill for outreach, but you raised the same question that I started out with. Do we know what's going on in our smaller cities and counties? The ones that I've interacted with are still sort of waiting to get basic things that we've been doing here, like testing. I think that the information has gone out, but I will be pressuring the state and also looking to make sure that the funding that we put in for outreach is utilized and that we're focused on hard to reach communities, because that is extremely important.
How you doing? Good.
Okay. And I think Kat had a question, maybe? Kat, I can't find it.
There is a question that came to me. I guess this is on my DM. Do you mind? Congresswoman actually probably don't know this today because she's been, as usual, hard at work at the texting, texting and things like that. But they wanted to know the overall stats for Texas, and I looked it up. And just to let you know that today, Texas overall, 50,586 total cases, 1,400 deaths, plus 902 new cases, and 31 deaths in Texas overall. In Harris County, 9,859 total cases. New cases today was 224, 207 total deaths, and 2 deaths today. So this is serious. This is no hoax.
No hoax, but more importantly, since the governor followed the Trump protocol as opposed to the protocol of all the scientists and doctors in the community, we have not gone down, but we have just had a steady continuation of the number of cases, the number of deaths. We're at 50,000. We're at 45,000 last Thursday and Friday, 45, 47. We're now at 50,000 cases. So we're one of the states that has the largest number. We're not the largest, obviously, but it is serious. And that's why it is so important for us to continue wearing our masks. And I'm saying that we're not behaving as good boys and girls because we're out and about and we're seeing people with no masks on and they're not understanding the science. And I know this is a new phenomenon for us, but I just ask people to take into consideration not only themselves, but their family members and their surrounding neighbors.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Congresswoman. And those of us who live in Galveston County, the numbers today aren't, they're smaller, but that doesn't mean they're better. But there's 4 new cases today. We were down to 1, and now we're up to 4. We have a total of 715 cases with 31 deaths. I certainly don't think that Galveston is out of the woods either. Galveston County is out of the woods either. But we did get one more question for you, Congresswoman, from Susan Nerlove. She's saying, wondering if the Congresswoman could share her thoughts about using the coronavirus disability excuse to vote by mail this year. Currently held up in the courts, many of us applied before the Supreme Court stay.
Yeah, I don't want to call it a COVID-19 excuse. I guess I think I understand what she's saying, but every time you hear that word, it's like
right.
Like it's not real. So I want to make sure that the intent by national Democrats and then state Democrats, which is really a process that will be utilized for all. It doesn't have a name on it, Democrats vote by mail. It is all citizens are able to vote by mail. The COVID-19 issue, of course, if you're hospitalized with COVID-19, to be honest with you, I'd love to make sure a nurse gets into your bedside if you are functioning or able, if you're just recuperating, that you could vote. Yes, I don't want any American to be denied the right to vote. And certainly that COVID-19 patient that's not on a ventilator, who may be alert and just recuperating, yes, they could vote. And that means you deny them the right to vote. Other persons who may be frail in health and therefore afraid that if they go out to vote, they may be impacted by COVID-19, that is legitimate. Their fear is legitimate and they should have a right to vote. And that's why we've advocated so much for the right to vote by mail is because this is a very unique situation. And as I said, if you look at the science and the medical professionals, again, they have indicated that they can't predict, but they are fearful of the combination of flu and COVID-19 in the fall. And November will be right smack in the middle of flu and COVID-19. We don't know what conditions any of us will be in. We may be under a stay-at-home order. Democrats like to think prospectively in the future. We don't want to look back and say, I sure wish we had done that. That's forward thinking. And my friends on the other side of the aisle, rather than painting everything as political and divisive and partisan, including my friends here in the state of Texas, why don't we look at it where everyone will have the option? If you don't want to vote by mail and want to fight the storm and whatever else is going on November 2020, go right ahead. We don't say it's exclusive. We give you the right to vote by mail because, one, we want to save lives, and we think that because you're sick, you should not be denied the right to vote.
Well, Congresswoman, I do have a question. Since you are the testing guru and you're leading the way, you spoke a little bit about testing earlier. What is your advice to just the general public? If we've been staying at home, do you think that people should all be trying to get tests for themselves, even if they have not been sick? Or is that something that will help us trace this disease and reopen in a way that will be a more productive way rather than setting us back months and months and months? I know that we have access to them, but I don't know what that access is and if everybody should go for it. And I've had several people ask, and I really don't have a good answer for them.
Well, I thank you for that question. It's a very important question. Remember, testing is two things. It's diagnostic to see whether you have it, whether you're asymptomatic. And the other is to make sure that if you do have it and you're asymptomatic, meaning you have it overtly, that you get medical care, or if you're asymptomatic, that you understand that you can give it to someone else. In both instances, overtly have it. If you're not at the level of going to a hospital, you should self-quarantine. If you're asymptomatic as well, you should self-quarantine for a period of time and check with your medical doctor to see what period of time that would be. But it is really to protect others that you'll come around. So if you have been at home, but you're asymptomatic, and then you're going to make your way out and say, I'm going to work, that means that you could infect your coworker. And so, yes, it is important for people to get tested who may have been home, but now they're going out and they're circulating around in the public. And I can't just look at you and say, well, you know what? You've been home, so I know you're good, because it's a virus. I can't tell anything. I can't look at your eyes, that you got red eyes. Oh, it looks like you have, some of the overt things that we didn't know about before. Stomach discomfort, as rashes, that people have, blood clots that you're not going to be able to see. That's something that if you're in the hospital at that point with blood clots, hard to breathe. So there's a lot of things that have come about of recent time that we didn't know anything about. But the main thing was, notice the difference. When we first started with COVID-19, what were they saying? Look for the cough, the temperature, and can't breathe. They didn't know anything about asymptomatic. They had no idea that you could be walking around looking just wonderful, and you're carrying the virus. So now that we know that, that's what I say to people. I don't want to get tested. It is about helping the people around you and yourself and your family to know whether or not you are infectious and could be spreading it. So I tell people to use their judgment. Maybe if you're not going to work or going to circulate and if you can ride this out completely in your home, that's one thing. But if you're out circulating, then I would encourage everyone to take advantage of, and the advantage word is not take advantage of someone else, but take advantage of what your federal government has provided you for. Remember, it is going all the way up to the president when he has been speaking clearly, and that is test, test, test. All of the leadership, Dr. Fauci, the head of the CDC, Dr. Bryce, everyone is saying test, test, test. And if they change their story, the original story is a true story. Test, test, test.
Congresswoman, thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to tell our members? Anything that would help you get your job done easier? Is there, who can we call? Who can we email? What should we all be doing while we're stuck at home to help your government response?
I want your fingers to go to walking. First of all, I will send a flyer to you, Carly, that I hope everyone will utilize, and that is that we are calling Wednesday, May 20th and Thursday, May 21st is Essential Worker Day at all our test sites. Everybody that does any work, fast food workers, veterans, first responders, health workers, delivery people, everybody that's essential worker, you get first priority at the test sites at Cullen Middle School, at Griggs Middle School, Elementary School, which is in the Aldine ISD, but it's in the Greenspoint area, Forest Brook Middle School, and certainly at 510 West Tidwell. So please come out. We know that you all have had a hard time getting away because you're essential workers, grocery store workers. This should give you an opportunity to be the ones in the line to get tested, maybe to feel more comfortable about your circumstances, comfortable that you're helping your fellow workers. So again, we'll be doing this with UMMC, and that will be tomorrow, Wednesday, starting from 10 to 5, Thursday from 10 to 5. It is Essential Workers Day, and that means to Cynthia Sanders, get it out to your AFGE wonderful workers. We know how essential they are. Let them come out as well. Also to the U.S. Postal Workers, we want to make sure we thank you for the work you're doing. And that bill that we just passed late Friday night includes, for the first time, providing resources for the vital postal service that everyone takes for granted and doesn't realize that they are quasi-public, and they've got to go they have to send money to the federal government, and that has been hurting them, but they have been working without ceasing, and many of you know that because people are at home. And we are online folk, and we are working. So I do want people to know that. The second and last point is we will not get this $3 trillion plus bill, which is not a joke and not a hope. It is to give long-range recovery to all the people who we don't see, who will eventually be coming out. Restaurants who say they can't survive under the present financial structure. People who are facing eviction. People who might have mortgage foreclosure. Those who need hazardous pay. So what we need is, we need a nonstop press to the United States Senate to say that this bill must be passed. We understand negotiation. We negotiated on the bill that the Senate wrote, as you well know, called the interim financing. And they said that we were holding it up. We weren't holding it up. We made it better, meaning the House Democrats. So we passed the bill. So you go ahead and make it with some modifications. There may be some harsh ones that we have to see, but the point is that we get the bill done in a bipartisan manner, and we make sure that it's signed by the President of the United States. Let's not be stuck in the mud. Let's not be the kind of, how should I say it, representatives that everything they see not through a glass prism of beautiful colors and diversity, but through that singular prism, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. American people are not looking for that at this time of their survival. I'm very proud to be a Democrat and proud that we wrote this bill and we did it meticulously, and we took care of the violence against women. We took care of health workers who were exhausted. We took care of cities and counties and states who were losing money by the day and a minute and a second. We did all that, and I can't believe that Republicans don't live in the same cities and counties and states that we do and seeing the same pain that I'm seeing here. The cars are still coming. These people are still coming to get food, on and on and on and on. And so, and it is no shame, but people are in predicaments where they have to save money to maybe pay that rent as opposed to getting groceries. So I don't know where my good friends are that are, wanting to just say that they're not going to vote on it or move this. I don't know where Senator McConnell lives. As we have heard, Kentucky gets the most federal dollars of those who get federal dollars, who don't send those federal dollars back to the United States. But you know what? The federal government, we are the United States of America. We take care of everybody. So if you're a small state and don't send as much as I send, I'm still going to make sure that your people are taken care of. Senator McConnell, do you not understand that? Do you not understand that we're all in this together? We're a family, 50 states. That's what I need you all to do. Text, tweet, call. The number is 202-225-3121. 202-225-3121. You can call the United States Congress and ask to speak to your senator or give a message to the United States Senate. And if you can see it, this is the HEROES Act. And it's for the heroes of America that have been on the front line, that have been helping all of us. They deserve our commitment and love. And as long as we are together, the heroes will know that we care. And by the way, happy Memorial Day to those who made the ultimate sacrifice, and the families, the Blue Star families, and of course the Gold Star families, the Gold Star mothers, whose children made the ultimate sacrifice. And it means that family made the ultimate sacrifice, and that is to die for their country. Don't we deserve to do what is right for them, whether you are individuals who have been able to be documented or those not, in this very difficult time.
Congresswoman,
Wow.
I cannot, I just, you know, we say it all the time, trust women, trust women, trust women. And you are living proof of that. So I want to thank you so much for everything that you're doing to help the entire community, the entirety of the nation, and for being a good example of what we should be doing, which is caring for everyone, taking care of everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Formidable force,
Congresswoman.
Indeed.
Thank
Adonica, do you want to say anything?
I just want to thank Congresswoman for what she does for Texas, what she does for our country, what she does for everybody. Thank you. We're honored to have you represent us.
Thank you so much. And I live
Thank
in
you
your
so-
district, and I love you.
I did too. And if you'll send me, Congresswoman, if you'll send me those that flyer, we will make sure to spread it on all of our social media
I'm
platforms.
trying to, well, at least I'm just gonna hold it up and then I'm gonna get it to you. But, you know, I say, this is for you. This is the Essential Workers Day. Get out, come on, and we're gonna welcome you. We're giving out some masks as well. So thank you guys so very much.
We are
All
so
right.
honored. Thank you so much.
We are so honored to have you. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Take care now. Thanks for
All right,
doing
you
this. Appreciate
too.
it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, the time has come for us to vote for Margaret Lynch to join us on our executive board. And so I am going to launch a poll. And so you'll see it, and you can go ahead, if you're a member, you can go ahead and post your vote, and I'll give everybody a little bit of time to do that. And it's a yes or no question.
Well, you're giving everybody a little bit of time. Can I just hop back on my membership?
Yes,
Because I was all over
yes.
the place. Totally. Okay, so because I did get a couple of questions of how to join. So if you go onto our website and you click, I have all the instructions, I promise. I had them up. So if you click get involved, join Road Women, it'll give you the link and you should be able to join. But I think at this point, we probably have mostly members. We would love to have you on board. And back to the events, we have a happy hour on Friday, and we have phone banking on Tuesdays. I'm sorry, on Thursdays. And then we also have John's event on Tuesday, the 2020 Democratic debates, right? Adonica,
Right.
Somebody help me here.
Yes, right after that. Yeah, right after this at 7 o'clock, there's the John's event, which is the virtual 2020 candidate debates and forums. Yes.
For 10, right? I believe so.
For, yes, Congressional District 10, yes.
So please join that. We, all of your member dollars are going to hard work helping sponsor these events that we are all using to adapt to the new crazy times that we're living in. So we are trying to do as much outreach as we can while staying away from each other, which is very hard. We miss you all, but if you want to become a member, we are trying to build our coalition of amazing road women and the men who love us. So please, please, please contact us, go to the website, become a member.
Yes, we actually do have about just under half of our guests tonight are actually guests. They are not members of Road Women. About 40% are guests, so that's pretty awesome. So welcome. We're happy to have you here tonight.
And we hope you become members.
We hope you become members. We usually just hug you a lot in person, so this might be good for some of you.
So the SBOE 6 debate is on Thursday, and Michelle Palmer is one of our regular Road Women attendees to our events, and she will be part of that debate as a candidate.
We have great candidates, and please remember about the runoff, but we'll be having more information, more phone banking and things like that to help with Road Women. I do want to mention one quick thing regarding the Democratic National Delegate. You will be voting for that. I just want to let you know that right now, the actual convention is still in person in Milwaukee, but today the mayor of Wisconsin said that he feels it's going to be virtual, which we're hoping it's virtual, but right now the actual Democratic Party in DC is saying that it's still in person. But what's going on,
wow.
I'm guessing it will be virtual, but it has not been official right now. So therefore, if you want to be a delegate, it will be a out-of-pocket on your own convention if you are nominated and then actually elected. So just wanted to make sure of that, because if it's virtual, of course, it's easier, no out-of-pocket, things like that. So
that's good information to have.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, drum roll, please. I'm just kidding. The results are in, and congratulations, Margaret Lynch. You have been elected by our members onto the board of Road Women, and we're so excited to have you. My husband's even clapping downstairs. So welcome. And
considered an essential worker as a waitress. She is on the front lines, risking her life all the time. We couldn't be more pleased to have her on. I'm very excited. Thank you, everybody, for voting.
Welcome, Margaret.
Yay, welcome. So excited. Okay, so again, if you're interested in being a part of our leadership team in any capacity, we'd love to have you. So just email roadwomentext@gmail.com and we will get back with you. Is there any parting words, ladies, before we let everyone go on with their night?
I did just get a message that I'm not sure which court, but a court has said that people with disabilities can have the option to vote by mail. I'm not sure if that's true, so go check your social media and things.
Yes, that's already, yes.
So make sure that you do vote by mail if you can, and for the rest of us, just be safe out there.
Tanya, anything to add before you go?
No, I hope to see everybody on Thursday and on Friday.
Yes, join us.
Phone calls Thursday.
Vote by mail calls for HCDP.
And as for me, I just want to, and I know she's gone, but thank Congresswoman for her continued dedication to Texas and the country. And thank you all for joining us. And lastly, I would like to say, although we're virtual, virtual hugs, we will be back, and there will be fundraisers too. We're going to hopefully we'll have a great gala for the holidays, but we look forward to seeing you in person. Thank you, and guys, and thank you, and have a very good evening.
Thank you, everybody. Be safe out there, and thank you for joining us.
And go to the town hall.
Go HBAD. Go to town hall.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Stay safe. Stay healthy.